Hey, Nodhill Nighthawks, here we are with lesson 1 or lesson 15, module 1. I am successful when I can fluently decompose to smaller units using tape diagrams and algorithms to solve word problems. So really, really similar to lesson 14. We're just going to continue that practice with decomposing because, like I said, that's where we're seeing the most mistakes happen. Okay. So our first problem is 1,000 minus 528. So I mentioned in lesson 14, when we have a lot of zeros, that can be kind of tricky, right? Because if I have zeros, then I don't have enough to subtract. So we have to decompose and move some of those values down. In this case, we have to start all the way over at our thousands place and move it all the way to our ones, kind of like our last problem in lesson 14. So my thousands place is going to become a 0. Hundreds place is going to become 10. But I'm still going to have to borrow and decompose all the way down to my ones. So this 10 is going to become 9, which is going to make my tens place have 10. But then we have to do that one more time. So 10, decompose that into 9. That 1 is going to become 10 in my ones place. And now we can subtract. Okay, set that problem up first, then subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 2, 7. 9 minus 5, 4. Neatness. I keep talking about neatness and turning our papers so that we can use that to keep them nice and straight. It's going to come in handy. All right, let's do a couple more. All right, here's our next problem. Lots of zeros, which means lots of decomposing and moving our value over. So we have 1 million minus 345,528. We can already see we're going to have to set up pretty much the whole problem, every place value, before we can subtract. Okay, so we're going to go all the way over to our millions and just move it down until we get all the way to our ones and can start a subtraction. So our 1 millions are going to become 0, 10 to the next value. And we just keep doing that until we get all the way down to our ones. So 10, it's going to become 9. 10, it's going to become 9. Going to borrow, and that's going to add 10 to my thousands place. Decompose that again for my hundreds place. Still not done yet. To decompose again. My tens place is going to become 10. Going to decompose one more time. All the way to our ones. So now we have 999,000. I have tens in my ones place, so I have enough to subtract. Okay, so now we can subtract all of our values. So 10 minus 8 gives me 2. 9 minus 2 gives me 7. 9 minus 5 gives me 4. 9 minus 5 gives me 4. 9 minus 4 gives me 5. 9 minus 3 gives me 6. So the difference between 1 million and 345,528 is 654,472. So you can kind of see the pattern, right? So if I move 10, I'll borrow again, it's going to become 9, which gave me 10, but I had to borrow again. So it left me with 9 all the way down because we were dealing with all those zeros. Pretty crazy. The borrowing just takes practice. So if that's still really confusing, set yourself up a problem with zeros. Practice subtracting random numbers from a million or 100,000 or 10,000 or 1,000, just so you can start to see that repetitious pattern of the decomposing. Okay, you guys will get it. You'll be pros. All right, so our last one for today is, or second to last one, sorry, is the word problem. So last year, there were 620,073 people in attendance at a local parade. This year, there were 456,795 people in attendance. How many more people were in attendance last year? Okay, so I'm going to set up my tape diagram to represent my problem. So I know that 620,073 were in attendance last year. There were 456,795 this year. So it's asking us, well, how many more went last year compared to this year? So we have to find the difference. So our second part to our whole is going to be our answer, okay? So we're gonna set up our subtraction problem with our algorithm. 620,073 minus 456,795. All right, so we need to first, step one, set up our problem. See what decomposing we need to do before we can subtract. Our ones, 3 minus 5, I'm gonna need to decompose. So this 7 is gonna become a 6. I'm gonna add 10 to the 3, which is gonna become 13. Okay, my ones are good. 6 minus 9, not gonna be able to subtract that. We gotta decompose, and what do you see? Zeros, zeros. We have to go all the way to our 10,000s to borrow some for our tens. Okay, so just like we did on the last one, you move them on down the place values until you get it where you need it. Okay, so this 2 is going to become a 1. That 1 I just took away is going to add 10 to my thousands. I need them over here in the tens though, so I'm going to decompose again. Adding 10 to my hundreds. Okay, so now I can take one of those from my hundreds, leaving my hundreds with 9. And my tens, instead of 6, it's going to be 16. So now my ones are good, my tens are good, hundreds are good, and us moving our numbers down, it's set up our thousands place and hundreds place. So it set those two up for us, because if we would have still had the zeros, we wouldn't be able to subtract. So now I have 9 minus 7, 9 minus 6, 1 minus 5. Oh, I need to decompose one more time. So this is going to become a 5. I'm going to add 10 to my 1, which is going to give me 11. So now we're set up and ready. Okay, so 13 minus 5 is going to leave me with 8. 16 minus 9 is going to leave me with 7. 9 minus 7 is going to give me 2. 9 minus 6 is going to give me 3. 11 minus 5 leaves me with 6. And 5 minus 4 leaves me with 1. So thinking back to our word problem, we can say there were 163,278 more in attendance to the parade the previous year. Okay, word problems, you always want to go back and make sure you answer the question in that answer statement, like we work on in interventions. Okay, all right, one more. All right, so our last one of the day is another word problem. So it says, David is flying from Hong Kong to Buenos Aires. The total flight distance is 11,472 miles. If the plane has 7,793 miles left to travel, how far has it traveled already? So if the total flight was 11,472, then that's going to be the total for our tape diagram. So 11,472. He's already traveled 7,793. So we're trying to figure out what's the difference. How many more miles do they need to travel? Okay, so we're going to have 11,472 minus $7,793. All right, so first step, like we've been practicing, we have to set it up first. Okay, 2 minus 3, I'm gonna need to borrow. So I'm gonna go over to my tens. That 7 is gonna become a 6. My 2, I'm gonna add 10 to it, is gonna become 12. So now I have 12 minus 3, 6 minus 9. I'm gonna need to decompose again, borrow from next door. So that 4 is gonna become a 3, and my 6 is gonna become 16. 3 minus 7, gonna have to borrow again. My 1 is gonna become a 0, and my 3 is gonna become 13. Remember, you take 1 away, and you're adding 10 to your place value to the right. 0 minus 7, I have to borrow again. So that's gonna become a 0, and my 0 in my thousands place will become 10. Now we are set up. We can subtract. So 12 minus 3 leaves us with 9. 16 minus 9, 7. 13 minus 7, 6. 10 minus 7 is 3. So they have 3,679 miles left to travel. All right, you guys should be getting pretty good at borrowing and subtracting. And like I said in the last one, if not, we got a lot of practice coming. So don't stress, all right? Keep working hard. Good job. We will see you guys soon. Have a great afternoon.